Hey guys, this is Daniel Steele again from Displays by Daniel, and I'm going to teach you how to make more better table ends, the uprights for the tables. I build those ahead of hand. So if you'll come in here, I'm going to teach you. You can see I've got end tables and coffee tables. This is for an order I've got. I do all my math ahead of hand. It's better not to do it on the fly. I know the look I want to achieve, and I'm going to teach you how to bring this into real life and make a beautiful table out of it, I hope. So I've already cut these down. I'm making an effort to try to shorten my videos. I've already cut these down. I'm going to kind of loosely lay one out here so you can get an idea of what we're talking about. That's going to be my uprights. That'll be the beginnings of my bottom shelf, more or less. There'll be an X going across when we're all done. That'll be in a later video. At any rate, I'd like to show you how I achieved that. The first thing that you need to do before you ever make your first cut, and I apologize, I'm going to talk to you like you've never used a saw before. That's the purpose of these videos, is instructional, so I always operate under the assumption that little things that I do or have learned to do over the years through both pipe fitting, structural fitting, and welding and fabrication, and then my own woodworking experience, maybe you've just not done. The key to making repeatable boxes like that you can just slap together, glue together, and there's no warpage. Well, one, the X's, you're going to spend forever doing the X's if your boxes aren't the same every time. And the way to achieve the box the same every time is to do the same thing every time, if that makes sense. So, like they always say, the definition of insanity is repeating the same thing and expecting different results. Then by definition, the definition of building is repeating the same thing to expect the same results, right? So, what I'm going to do is I'm going to raise my guard up. I've already done it. But I'm going to true this blade up with my table. That's the first step. You can see it is true. It's perfect. Perfectly 90 that direction. Perfectly 90 that direction. So I've done that. The proof that I've done that is right here. Perfectly 90 that direction. Perfectly 90 that direction. And that's important because what's going to happen, especially this cut, if I'm not perfectly 90, I go screwing boards onto it and it's going to whopper jaw it. And then you're trying to pull it tight with clamps. And we've already established in a previous video that on a soft pine wood especially, trying to pull a wood square with clamps and then hold it with screws is eventually, it's going to pull out and it's going to go back to where it wanted to go eventually. You might achieve it for a little while. But as you use the furniture, especially if you're shipping it out to sell, in the months to come, it's going to pull back to where it was. The better thing to do is just to take some time, exhibit a little bit of workmanship and pride in what you're doing, and get it right to begin with. So, we've done that. What I did was I measured out my first piece 22 inches, and you can see that is exactly what we have. And I measured out my first piece 22 inches. I lined it up. I decided I liked it. And I clamped me a block here. The important thing is it doesn't necessarily matter the length of this board. It could be 21 and 15/16. It could be 21 and 31/32. It could be 22 and 1/32. What matters is that all four of them are exactly the same, which is the point of the block. Now, if you've never used the stop block before, the important thing is when I'm pushing on this board, it's back against the fence. I'm not pushing that way because it will cock. I'm careful when I remove my board, bring it back out. And then when I butt my feet stock up against it, you want to watch for these. You want to knock them off because they're going to push you back off your fence and throw your cut out a square. And they're going to push you back off there and make your board short. So you want to knock those little from the previous cut off. And you watch, I'm guiding it along the fence and just barely button it up. Rip it, pull it out, barely butt it up. Rip it, pull it out. And it's that easy. And that's how I get, oh no, you're fine, just let me grab my tape. There it is. That's how I get 22 exactly, 22 exactly, and I can grab all 4 of these, which is what I wanted, butt them up, flush them up on this back side, and you'll see I have 4. Come down this edge, honey. Perfectly, come over here where they can see. Thank you. Perfectly flush. Perfectly flush. And that's the important part. And that's all the way around. And of course, we already got them flush on this side when we ripped them. So I have 4 perfect pieces of dimensional lumber to make 4 uprights, or 8 rather, if you count the 2x4s. So I'm gonna go ahead and stop the video there, and we're gonna set up a jig, and then I'll walk you through that process in a little while. Thanks for playing along, guys. Again, this is Daniel Steele with Displays by Daniel. I hope you found that helpful. Let's make a table.